Hello again, everyone. Melth here, with more of my Baldur's Gate 3 challenge run, tackling more of Rosenborn Monastery, which is one of my favorite areas of the entire game. As usual, details of the challenge run are in the YouTube video description, and watch out for spoilers throughout this video. Alright, so, last time we finished off all these kobolds in here, and looted the only one that has something important. Now let me move very gingerly, because I've had a bunch of crashes when trying to move recently. I don't know why. But last time I tried to record the same video, it crashed like 3 times right here. Looks like we're good this time. Notice, you might have seen like a slurp sound back there. Although the kobolds are all dead, kind of the ambient, not really ambient, but the text boxes, as if there were still kobold sounds going on, don't go away. Yeah, there was another one there. The same thing actually interestingly happens in another area of Rosenborn Monastery with the Grimishka down in the Githyanki area. In the nursery where the kids have been torturing one of them. If you let it out of the box and kill it or whatever, you'll still hear the random Grimishka yowl sounds. So, just kind of two, I guess, little minor developer oversights in the same area. Not sure why that is exactly. Let me know if you've ever seen these things actually work properly, where like when you kill the thing, the sounds go away or whatever. For me, they have always been bugged, but maybe that's just the particular way I do things. Okay, well, let's keep exploring this really interesting 3D area. Not always clear what vines can and can't be climbed, I guess those ones can't be. But we can just jump on out of here, and work our way up to some of the higher levels where we'll find puzzles and secret treasure. One other great thing about this area is just how many secret treasures there are. In fact, I bet I don't even know all of them. Let me know if you know of any other ones. But I just really like that they reward exploration here. I wouldn't want to go into that filthy pond myself, even for buried treasure, I don't think, but let's see what we've got. Was it worth getting to this green muck? Probably not for our rich characters. Maybe if we were peasants. Anything up here? I don't think so. There is a way around the backside of this area, I think, but I don't think we get to it from this side. We get to it from another area. Let's break through this wall here. We could climb up to the roof that way, by the way, which... yeah, we can come back and do that, maybe. But again, I just love how many ways there are to explore this area. I think this is back into one of the first rooms. Yeah, this is where we read about the blood of Lathander for the first time, and where we fought some of the initial Grumishkas. Out to this lovely outside area. I don't think there's anything in that box. I'm just, going to every area to be thorough. And then over here we'll find both a puzzle, and also across the way there we will find one of the pieces of that puzzle and a rather easy encounter. So here is the core of the puzzle that unlocks the key to get the Blood of Lathander relic. It also, crucially, gives an all-day long buff to your whole party, giving them plus 1d4 radiant damage whenever they do a weapon attack. Which is so good, I don't want to waste it here at the end of Act 1. I want to use it at the beginning of Act 2 and have it all day for Act 2 instead. So I'm going to hold off completing that puzzle until then. But here's the way it works. I think it's pretty cool. Like, simple, but interesting. So here's Dawnmaster Visaid. This one is Dawnmaster Welkenglory.
Dawnmaster Welkenglory.
I forget these two. One of them is going to be Seed. Okay, that one's Seed. And, yeah, this one I don't know.
Dawnmaster Stockhold.
Okay. Anyway, the important thing is it corresponds to this stained glass window. Each of them has a ceremony weapon associated with them, and the Welkenglory one with the sword is kind of one clue about that to help you understand the pattern. I think it's just like a well-designed puzzle that's pretty easy, but set up in a way that feels semi-natural.
Overseen by Dawnmasters.
This part of the check is totally irrelevant as far as I'm aware to solving the puzzle. Not even to mention the weapons, which is the key thing here. So if we look at the Welkenglory one, you'll see him wielding a sword. And so putting the ceremonial sword on his platform, is part of solving the puzzle. If you remove it, it'll stop glowing is another clue. Now, the broken one is for Visaid, but his weapon is broken out of there. We can't tell what it was. But that's what interestingly ties in with the clue we found in one of those previous books I mentioned in the last session. See, that book says that he has a beloved battle axe, so the ceremonial battle axe goes there. Seed is holding, a warhammer type thing.
By Dawnmaster Seed.
So that one's pretty clear. And then the last one, which helps make it seem even less artificial, you can't see what this guy's weapon is. He does have one, but you can't see what it is. And so, basically the process of elimination, if you identify what Visaid's has to be, you know what his has to be, given that there's only 4. But you just kind of, you'll come down to 50-50 if you haven't figured out the clue about Visade, essentially. Anyway, I just like how it's set up. I think it's pretty interesting. It is also unnecessary to solve. It is a way to bypass a Doomsday weapon, basically. But the Doomsday weapon is pretty easily disarmed by brute force, honestly. By the way, you can't break the singlets windows you might expect to get down to the lower areas. It would have been kind of cool if you could do that at the cost of damaging your clues, but... Mention the 4 ceremonial weapons, intricacy of the metalwork. That part, though, kind of runs against what we'll actually find, though. See, a semi-little known fact, any old weapon will do. You don't actually need the proper ceremonial ones. Put any longsword onto that platform, it'll work just as well. Put the rusty longswords you find around here on there, it works. It's kind of a failsafe in case you miss one of the ceremonial ones. Might make things a little bit too easy, but I don't know. It's kind of a multi-layered puzzle, and you can bypass different sets of it different ways. Or bypass the whole thing, unlocking the window that I'll be doing once I get back in there. But one thing at a time. Let's get up and get some more secret treasures out here. Nice amount of gold, trash tier elixir, and a good elixir. We've got some things to unlock around here. Let me maybe switch up my rings and whatnot to account for that. We probably want the smuggler's ring here, which you don't normally want because it penalizes charisma. And we might put on the, instead of the wondrous gloves, the gloves of power. Now, I'm not actually 100% sure those will work or not. See, they work if you're branded. But whether you count as that in disguised self form or not, you usually don't, but sometimes you do. And with the way disguised self has been bugged lately, where I've been locked into my disguise form, I honestly have no idea what to expect. So let's try it and see what happens. Oh, let's also, I guess, swap those to give ourselves advantage on these lockpick checks. Okay.
Come on, open up.
And we're really overkilling it for this one. I just want to kind of demonstrate things here. So let's see, we've got +4 dexterity now, we got Bliss Spores, Mark of the Shifter, Smuggler's Ring, Gloves of Power are applying. Good to know. So this should be pretty trivial. Yeah, 12 turns into 27, we're pretty set. And we get a lousy scroll for Vivify, which for this permadeath run is no good, but, you know, it's fine. Now downstairs to the much more important lock lets you bypass the entirety of the puzzle. See, they only want people who are initiated into the mysteries of Lathander and are their, properly ordained high priest to be able to access the sacred relic, or any pretty good thief. Either way.
What's that?
DC 30 lock is not nothing. Oh, let's wait till we have, I guess, Karlach in range. But, really, it's just a DC 30 lock. Compared to the Doomsday device getting another... Okay, it's not letting me... I don't already have it, do I? Yeah, I do. Okay, I'm being silly. It's on the list and I hadn't seen it. Okay, 14 is plausibly going to be enough. Let's see. Low roll there, low rolls, but just made it. Okay, I stacked up enough pluses to even hit that high DC. Very nice. So this pouch here contains the note, which is... mostly just a warning. If you already got to this point, you don't need the warning anymore, really. I guess this just tells you how to use the key.
This blood sounds important.
And then the crest itself, which we'll use to bypass the Doomsday device. Alright, we can probably switch these things back up, put back on our proper ring, put back on our wondrous gloves. There are a few more locks to pick, but they're nowhere near as hard as that one, so it's really not worth, fussing about, I would say. And risking the chance of just forgetting to put the right stuff back on. I am looking forward to the beginning of Act 2 when we'll get a whole bunch of armor class boosting things. We'll get right up to be, 21, 22 AC and things like that. And I feel a good deal safer than the current mere 20 and 21. Okay, so we hop on over here and keep up the search for the ceremonial weapons. Lots of murdered monks, I guess. Over encumbered. That's happening a lot because, of course, I haven't gone through with selling anything because I can get better prices, as I keep saying, at the beginning of Act 2. Should be good enough. Okay. So that enchanted door is blocked, but there's a pretty easy way around it. We can just go down here and, well, go through one more regular doorway and then bust down the wall. What's that? And then there's a sanctuary where more monks were murdered, guarded by this guardian of faith. Now, this isn't really so much like an encounter as it is a punching bag, because it won't move really from that spot and just wait while you set up and prepare to kill it. It can retaliate in melee range against you, but like Guardians of Faith are less summons and they were just kind of aerial denials that are not even good at that job, given that it's a 4th level spell. So I don't really think we have too much to fear from this. One thing I will warn about, by the way, I found if you cast Hex on the thing, you sometimes don't get your Hex back, so I'd recommend against doing that. One thing it is good at is it does have very high armor class. Let's maybe have Astarion shoot it, because he can apply -1 dexterity if he hits, which he didn't.
Let's turn someone inside out.
Well, that was a bit better. There we go. Okay. That averaged out to be about the normal amount of hits. And from here it should be pretty easy, really. We have so many skeletons and whatnot pointed at the guy. Like, what chance does he have? Even if he dodges a lot of attacks like that, he's going to get overwhelmed.
Gods, it's hot.
Especially given how accurate throw attacks can be if we get close enough to be allowed to do them.
In my best interest.
How supposedly accurate they can be. There we go. Doesn't really resist that very well, so out we go. Alright, let's see if I get some better luck with skeletons this time, compared to last time. Not so far, but 4 skeletons to go. Do you think anyone will hit? Place your bets, place your bets. There we go.
Let's get going. They should all be running.
As I said, it's really less a fight than it is just kind of a punching bag.
Must be one of that.
Unless, of course, you're a melee character, and then you get to suffer, I guess. But that's just kind of the norm for this game. Melee is punished again and again.
Just.
Or you could just stay at range and let your range characters do all the work, of course. That's always an option. Okay, Sun's gonna don't really think it's ever worth concentration. Hold person is seldom worth it. Dimension door, I'll keep it in case I occasionally want it.
Weary head.
Too bad, Karlach. No rest.
Time to press ahead.
Let's see, I think that skeleton has a journal, maybe, just talking about how they got, massacred by a dragon in here. So the Githyanki just, wantonly murdered all of them, tortured a few of them, and then when the monks fought back, summoned a dragon to deal with them, because Githyanki really consider themselves to be much better than they are at fighting. Mostly they just succeed because they have giant dragons on their side, because in ages past, their somewhat more competent leader made a pact with devils to get dragons to help them. It's not that impressive, really. This, I think, is one of the few things I don't like about this area. It's kind of like an accidental anti-clue is the thing. See, possibly several hours of adventuring from now, you'll come across these statues down in the depths at the very bottom of Githyanki town, right before where the Blood of Lathander secret area is. And there are 2 statues that are meant to turn, but one of them doesn't turn very well. And so I remembered this and thought, oh, okay, maybe the trick, and this is kind of clever, is that you need to actually grease the thing based on this clue you read like 2 hours ago. But grease actually doesn't work at all. No, what you need to do is attack the statue, and that just randomly makes it turn. Shoot a crossbow at it, it turns. It doesn't make any sense, but that's the way it is. So I don't really love that. I feel like that was kind of misleading and quite confusing when I was trying to solve that puzzle, because the silly solution worked, whereas the one that we'd read about in the book did not work. Anyway, up here a fight should be waiting for us, I believe. Where's Shovel? Did Shovel get left behind somewhere? Okay, here we go. So we have these endangered eagles to talk to now. They weren't necessarily endangered before we got here, but they sure are now because they have to fight everything. So we're going to have Astarion shoot them, then we're going to shovel them if need be, and there's usually a blue jay involved here, but I guess he'll just shut up because we're not going to be talking to him because I forgot to go back and start that question in the first place. Why did it not... Okay, it didn't bring me into the combat mode for some reason there. Very peculiar. But yeah, these guys shouldn't be that difficult.
I am fury. I am death.
Nope. I misclicked there and thereby wasted a shot, but that should be okay.
And lethal. No time to waste.
I'm ready.
Alright, Astorian. 50-50 shot that this kills. Let's give it a try. Didn't work. Okay. Bit of a waste there. That's fine. I'll give this one to Ballista, maybe. While also shooting at that guy. Let's try that. Yeah, we could Hex. Maybe that would have been smart. Well, let's do that. We can hopefully carry it over into Githyanki Town momentarily. Out of sight. What? I guess we don't have eagle eyes to see them, but still, I would think that guy is pretty plainly in view. Okay, what if we walk over there? We do need to watch out for these vines that can grab you. I mean, it's not a big deal, but if it keeps you from getting to him, it could be a bit of a hassle.
Get started.
There we go.
Done.
Probably shouldn't have pushed him back, given that does make me walk through more vines, but again, that's probably gonna be okay. There we go.
No one back home will ever believe this.
Indolence breeds malice.
Anyway, there is, as I was kind of saying, a quest you can do where an evil blue jay will falsely claim that this humongous nest is its and ask you to kill these probably good-aligned giant eagles. For no reason, basically. And the blue jay itself is provably having stolen a nest from another bird.
An efficient but a formidable weapon. Was this used on my people?
Sadly, no, it wasn't. If it was, they might not have taken over the place.
Is that blood? No. Never mind.
Anyway, I think we have all the 4 ceremonials now. One's already in place for Welcome Glory, then we've got the other 3, but we'll just hang on to them.
Never want.
Maybe I'll put one of them in place just to demonstrate the way it works, and then I'll come back and do this properly at the beginning of Act 2 so I can get the bonus all day. And again, any old rusty weapon will do. Is there anything over here? There's this dead Githyanki talking about how they should take over this place, I guess. Basically, they just decide, hey, rather than build their own place, let's murder a bunch of peaceful monks and take the place over for ourselves.
Githyanki warrior. A creche must be close.
We've been down to the lower area of there already. This is another one of the many, many cool connections in this place. I feel like I might remember there being some treasures in one of these boxes. I'm honestly not sure. I haven't done this area very many times. I've only played through Acts 2 and 3 once, ever. And I've only done this area like twice, with this being the 3rd time. So my knowledge is going to be a little bit less perfect here than it was in some of the previous areas. Well, I think we've done mostly everything there is I know about up in this area. So let us go down to one of the lower zones, perhaps, and go back to the place we can put in the Welcome Glory sword. The AI pathfinding is pretty smart around here, which is a nice time saver. I mean, not smart enough to have the skill to not walk into vines, but we can't have everything, can we?
Here goes nothing.
Okay, I think this one's Visade, so we'll put the ceremonial battle axe on that one.
Mr. Visade. Assume nothing.
Well, she's going to tell us to assume nothing, but we're going to assume over here that the other ceremonial weapon that we don't have a clear clue for will fit here.
Cold. Action, not reaction.
If you get it wrong, but I think you get zapped for some minor damage. Anyway, we will save the last one and only put it on the plan when we're actually ready to get the buff in Act 2.
At the ready.
So, let's head on to one of the other outside areas of the monastery, I think. I also just, as I've said, I think, love the visuals and the atmosphere and the music in this area. The very melancholy music around this ruined place. Okay. I think this is kind of a dead-end side path. I'll just ball lists, I think, for simplicity's sake, walk down there. So I don't have like a whole mess of skeletons trying to navigate it too and possibly getting stuck whenever they need to jump.
Might be useful.
And up here I think is one of the graves of one of the Dawn Masters, presenting sort of a clue. Let me see if I remember that right.
Arskel Stockhold, Dawnmaster. From
Now, I think in character, Ballista does not actually dig up this grave, but I'm going to just demonstrate the clue out of character. So, this is not canon what he's doing right now. I won't even take the ring just to make that point. So, basically it says he was buried with a ceremonial mace, which, matches things. Oh, I guess that actually is a clue about which weapon needs to go to Stockhold. So fair enough. There are two ways, I suppose, in that case to then get the clues about who gets what weapon out of the ones that don't have their weapons shown on the stained glass. Hadn't thought of that. But it also shows, perhaps more importantly for some people, that the ceremonial maces degrade into the rusty maces, and that rusty one will work instead of the ceremonial one. So it's a good kind of clue about that little quirk. Okay. A very well done puzzle all in all, I think, but I have probably praised it enough.
Stand your ground! Keep them busy! Lathander, forgive me. We have to fire the lance.
As far as more, they didn't actually manage to fire the lance, or at least not in any kind of consequential way. The lance being their doomsday weapon. Oh no, don't jump up to her. No, everyone go down there. We're all going down there together. That is what the plan is right now, guys. Okay. Jumps can be the biggest obstacle splitting your party up in this game sometimes.
Keep them busy!
Looks like a magic mouth spell.
Yeah, it doesn't really tell you anything.
Someone long gone. Don't waste a step. I'll give it a shot.
Okay, I don't think there's much in here other than just a way to break in toward where the front door is. Oh, did I fail to break that? Embarrassing.
Done.
Another rusty mace. It's both a convenient way to solve the puzzle if people have missed the ceremonials, and also just makes logical sense. It's a good convergence of out-of-character and in-character reasons for the rusty mace and things like that to be around. Great design in this area in many respects. Nice bounty of XP for just walking into this empty room. We're already halfway to next level, basically. We won't get there. As far as I'm aware, there is not enough XP in all of Act 1, even if you kill like everything and everyone, to get to level 8, but you can get darned close. And I'll be getting darned close because I killed just about everything and everyone. I left just like a few droids alive that weren't a threat and there was no reason to fight, but not enough for it to actually be enough to tip me over to the next level, I don't think. Let me know if you have hit level 8 and how you did it, because I'm pretty confident it can't be done in Act 1. And likewise, I think you can get very, very close to level 11, but I don't know if you can actually hit level 11. Even one time when I deliberately, just to test it, massacred everyone in Last Light Inn, as well as all the Moonrise Tower people, I still did not quite get to level 11.
A couple turns should do it.
Okay, this one is not hard and it's really worth putting on all the lockpicking gear. Let's just do guidance and open it that way. This kind of reveals how the Holy Blood was stolen from one of the previous Dawn Masters before they built this more fortified temple, and then they got it back. We already knew a bit of that from the stuff upstairs. This is the front door, which, if this is like Dark Souls 3 and it was really hard to navigate the environment, opening a shortcut made a huge difference. That would of course be amazing, but I mean, it's not. It's trivial to navigate this environment. in terms of doors opening. Yeah, so doesn't really change anything to get around here. And the other volume of that story. They're reacting a little bit dramatically to the relic being stolen, but you know, let's maybe see what happens if just Ballista goes back and talks to that blue jit that I mentioned. Keep everyone else here just for simplicity's sake. I think the closest checkpoint to him is just this one over here at this waypoint. Oh, I guess Shovel got carried along. Very well. I really don't know what will happen if you've already killed the eagles first and then talked to him, so I'm curious about that now. Let's see. Was he up this path? I know he's higher up on the trail. Maybe he's beyond that jump.
I should speak up.
I've got nothing left to take, so you might as well.
So I suppose we will be playing the victim here, but
Steal. Eagles are bigger.
I don't know why though, because like he doesn't think we can fight the eagles, and this is clearly a lie. Like they did not take his nest. That is a giant eagle-sized nest.
Works here. Oh, sure, a nest. But it's not my nest. That's up on the roof with the eagles. Eagles are pricks. Some poor little tit who wasn't paying attention. Exactly right. Not all humans can grasp bird ethics. You should be proud. It's not even like the eagles need my nest.
This is kind of a clue about the kobolds, I guess, but you don't need clues about kobolds, especially not drunk ones.
Eagles can be killed. Incredible. Thank you, kind, tall, ugly stranger. My nest awaits.
Anyway, he usually tells you about a buried treasure. We already dug that up, I think.
I'm sorry. I'm just a bird. I don't have things to give you. Oh,
Half the birds in this game have treasures in their nests for some reason. This guy's an exception. He's the key, I think.
buried near that ferry dock. Might be worth a look.
In any case. He does have a treasure there. Interesting. Okay, let's teleport on back. A totally minor, totally trivial little quest there. But interesting to see how that turns out if you've already done the work before you talk to that guy. And I guess having opened the door will save me some time going back to the Blue Jay, which is why I'm doing it now rather than earlier. But in general, a game full of waypoints, opening shortcuts doesn't make that much difference, which is why they were inconsequential in, for example, Dark Souls 2. We could teleport to every bonfire from the beginning, and seldom, but sometimes consequential in Dark Souls 3, for example. But enough about completely unrelated games that I also enjoy. Well, I don't enjoy Dark Souls 2, but you know what I mean. So they just kept the relic out in the open here before, you know, building this whole giant fortress temple thing around it.
With Samaster, immortalized here for all to worship.
So they killed the blood of Lathander here. No wonder it was looted.
That's a Githyanki blade, if ever I saw one.
Alright, we'll pick it up and add to wares. A lot of the Githyanki things are moderately valuable. They're also very heavy in general. I don't usually send goods to camp because it's hard to justify in character most of the time, but I feel like here, where they have all these super valuable, super heavy sets of armor and whatnot, we probably would do it.
That's curious.
Just kind of having our party members in camp, I'd imagine in character being the ones who come here and fetch it and carry this stuff away. Alright. So this just accounts how they, you know, came in, decided not to bother with the Grimishkas for some reason. and murdered the monks. And for some moderately interesting reason, Wargas, who we're actually been meeting momentarily as a boss, apparently was supposed to be stationed here, but he isn't. Like, he was called in only recently. So maybe he was stationed here once, and then he went away, and then they called him back because he knew the place already, and that's why he in particular was sent as the Inquisitor here. I don't know. Maybe just kind of an oversight where the developers changed their minds and didn't rewrite things. I don't think there's anything down there. Yeah, it's not even traversable. Okay. Down here, though, goes into the Githyanki portion of the monastery. Now, out of character, none of the Githyanki came in here, killed like half of the nursery staff and half their kids, and then left. I said nursery, I mean their infirmary. We haven't gotten to the nursery yet. None of them care, out of character. But in character, we've all been acting as though they do, because that's what makes sense, and I'm going to pretend that they're already hostile to us at this point. And just, go ahead and fighting them, because that makes more sense and is more challenging. A good way to begin the fight, I would say, is if you're going to have a raven peck anyone, having it peck the warrior is a pretty good choice. You might miss, but it's a good thing to attempt. I'm talking about the Inquisitor showing up. Part of this group, I think, is with his party, half of it's with the Inquisitor's party. Oh, there we go. Well, we missed him. I'll try that again just so I can demonstrate the important point there. Obviously, blinding them for advantage is nice, but the more important thing on warriors in particular is it takes away their ability to parry. They use that as a reaction, so they can do it only once per round, and basically the first attack that hits them, they reduce the damage of it by a certain fixed chunk. Even if the damage that would be hitting them is just 1, they waste the whole ability on that. Plus, bizarrely, they still get blinded. So it's just a perfect way to take away that defensive option from them. Not that that's the biggest deal, it's just very, very efficient, and so I thought it was worth talking about. I wonder if these guys are close enough together that we can hit them with a spike bulb. Hypothetically. Probably not. Let me just test it, though. They are, actually. That could be efficient. Okay, that one doesn't have great armor class. This one kind of does, though. See, kind of the opposite of the Dwargar from Grimforce, the other late game Act 1 area. Githyanki tend to have fairly low hit points, all things considered, for this point in the act, but have pretty high armor class, generally speaking. So getting advantage against them is pretty good. Whereas Dwargar, they had garbage armor class, but had high hit points, generally speaking. Well, I think we'll have Astarion, because he can fire uphill with no penalty due to Sharpshooter, pick off that Raider, so we can free up this skeleton and that Raven. He can probably do it in 2 hits. Nice. Well, in that case, I think it makes sense to hit this guy next, because we already have advantage on attacks against that guy. So, use the invisibility for this hit. Sure, we'll sneak attack him. Why not?
Blood comes easy these days.
Let's hex the guy too, I think. And then maybe we can milk some more extra attacks if we have Astarion shoot that guy. Softening him up. At this point, a high roll from Ballista would kill him, giving us an extra attack. Can we improve the odds a bit in some way?
This is gonna feel good.
Maybe if you cruise on up and just shoot an offhand shot at that guy. Nice. Okay. Now even a low roll from Ballista should kill that guy. Freeing us up to get another action attacking him. Let's turn off Repelling Blast. Probably won't make a difference. Now that almost guarantees we'll kill this guy due to hex damage and whatnot. There we go. And now the warrior should be pretty easily picked off for all of the remaining people that can attack.
Hungry for the slow.
You've still got advantage against him, so we'll pummel him with that. And all the skeletons have advantage too. I really can't emphasize enough just how good Raven Familiars are and how they synergize well with all your other summons that have a harder time generally hitting than your main party members have all kinds of bonuses. Skeletons are decent, but with advantage, like their DPS is really huge. I said DPS, you know what I mean. Their damage per round on average is really huge. I say as they low roll. Okay, it didn't walk close enough there, but it worked out okay anyway.
Not many died today.
This guy has a cool treasure. Alright, let's send that to camp, send that to camp. This ring, for some party members, can be phenomenal in the right builds. Now, I don't really have the right builds for it, but it's a very, very fun, cool item. Arcane Synergy technically stacks, but not really in a useful way as far as I'm aware. It basically just extends the duration rather than increasing the power level of it. But basically, you can get a lot of extra damage on your weapon attacks if you have a cantrip you can do along with weapon attacks. Which, hey, if you have bonus action hand crossbow shots, literally everyone can do. And if you have fancy ways to get maybe bonus action cantrips, of course, it's even better and whatnot, but that's a little harder to do. Or if you have action surge, of course, it works. Or many, many ways to make it work. It's just a fun ability, and certain builds can make it great, whereas for me, it's just kind of okay. But I have had a shortage of good rings for Karlax. Let's give this to her. She can use it. So, now if she hits someone with a cantrip, such as for her Ray of Frost or Firebolt, which we often use, she'll then, on her next weapon attack, and the ones for next turn, do plus her intelligence modifier damage. And likewise with this thing, will also power up her next weapon attack after doing a cantrip. So, two rings that work decently well together. My party isn't great for using them, but they're okay for it. Yeah, I guess, kobolds love dragons, just want to be near them for no good reason, really. They're kind of a slave race dragons in the past, just kind of programmed to love them, seemingly. It does seem bizarre to me that the Githyanki that just, for fun, murder every living creature around them and torture them and whatnot would leave the kobolds that are defiling their stronghold alone, but they do, I guess.
Very well.
I think I remember there'd be some treasures up there, but I don't want to have the whole group of skeletons getting bogged down, going up and down ladders and whatnot, so let's just have just ballistic weapon grab stuff. Okay, just healing potions and whatnot. And what about you? Anything? Okay, various torture victims here they haven't bothered to clean up because they're not very tidy. Again, they're just like tall, stretched out goblins as far as Willis is concerned at this point. They're even filthy like goblins. And here's that tiefling who we met near the bridge where the first Githyanki patrol was fought. She declined to join our party at that time. I wish we could ask her if she regretted that, but we can't.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Mostly here, I think she just presents another source of clues about the blood of Lathander. And just, again, reveals that the Githyanki are horrible and they just tortured her. For information she didn't have and had no way to have.
Absolute. Moonrise. Couldn't understand.
She was just like a semi-refugee trying to get to Baldur's Gate, so.
To Baldur's Gates. Blocked. Took a new path. Found monastery.
Now, it is a little bit peculiar to me that she remembers this old story about the monks guarding the blood of Lathander. It just... all the monks were killed in this rather prominent roadside monastery centuries ago, right? And the Githyanki have not left since. And we're not that far from major populated areas of the Sword Coast. It just does seem a little bit strange that they wouldn't kind of know that there's a Githyanki hazard right here along this moderately major road near moderately big cities.
Hidden. Inside. Couldn't find.
The spells.
She can't really provide any good information about that as far as I'm aware, because she didn't know anything.
Questions.
Another chunk of XP for continuing the same old quest we've already been doing. Oh hey, a warg fang. Nice. That's 1/3 of a bloodless elixir. And here are some other torture victim from ancient times. They haven't cleaned this up in like centuries, apparently. Maybe living on the astral plane all the time, they just kind of think, we'll get around to it. Time doesn't pass properly. And they forget how things actually work in the material plane they're living in right now. Yeah, somewhere around here, I feel like there's a book talking about the ways Illithids trick you. I can't remember now where that was, but it's just notable in that if you read that book, the Emperor follows literally the exact playbook you're told Illithus would follow to trick you. It's kind of a further clue that he is manipulating you about everything he ever says to you, and nothing he says that suggests he's your friend is to be trusted whatsoever. Okay, now here is what I'm going to call a tricky fight. Not in that it is a tricky fight to win, but it's tricky to get them to fight you at all, for silly reasons. Basically, one time when I tried this in the past, wanted to get a nice fight with these 3 guys and those 2 guys over there, these guys didn't care. When I came down and smacked them in the face, they didn't care. They just refused to join in the fight that's going on with those guys up there, so it became 2 very easy fights rather than the one, I don't know, medium fight. So what I think I'm going to try this time is a new strategy. What are you doing over there? Get in here, shovel. Oh, I didn't know shovel could take keys, but sure, whatever. Okay. Everyone running up there or whatever, so we can pull these guys into the fight, I hope. I don't really know this will work, I just know that the normal strategy does not work to pull them into the fight together. Ballista and only Ballista run down below,
Before me.
and then try to start a fight by just initiating a fight from the dialogue menu.
Seems like a good moment
Oh,
to talk.
come on, click on him.
Haven't had enough yet?
Standing right in the middle of them is not great positioning, but maybe I can now pull the other guys in. Or maybe not, who knows. Which skeleton are you? You're one who can't go yet. Okay. Well, what if I just shoot that guy? Will that work? I sure hope so. Okay. Forget it. There is no good way to get them pulled in together in that case. We'll just take these guys out as 2 separate easy fights because the game won't let us have a hard one. None of the ravens can go, so no way to disarm the guy's parry. That's fine though.
Ready for another round?
I am fury. I am death.
I guess I want to hit him with our weakest attack first, whatever that, or weakest weapon attack that is, so he will waste his time negating an unimportant bit of damage. This skeleton's probably a decent way to do that, because his weapon damage is usually pretty small. Okay, interesting, it also negates the necrotic. I hadn't been aware of that for sure, but that's fine. Okay, so that's done. Here's an idea. Suppose I have her, one of my least valuable attackers, throw a spike bolt. That should give me advantage against all of them, due to how I have, Bual's Benediction. Bleeding from Spike Bolt was guaranteed, so the advantage of 1 turn is also guaranteed. I guess killing the Raider is pretty important. And pretty efficient. It'll be about 2 kills. Yeah, well, but we can kind of choose. Yeah, never mind. I wasn't really sneaking attacking you after the fact, but it's the way things work in this game. Not always logical, but that's a 5e thing rather than a Baldur's Gate thing. Yeah, we're sneak attacking you.
Never a dull moment.
And we'll hex you for the probable kill. Nice. And, I don't know, can we get a height advantage against this guy? Maybe not. Not that we need it, because we have advantage against him anyway. Wait, he still is ready to parry? That's a little odd. Did I not notice anything about, I don't know, attack missing him or something? It doesn't really matter.
Victory.
As you can see.
Alright, what now? Swift as my feet can
Right, we'll go back and have an easy fight against Izuku, who unfortunately could not pull into the main battle there.
Poor conduct.
That will not serve them well in battle.
Oh hey, a Raven gets to go. Nice. Maybe we can clear out his parry with that. Or maybe not. We'll see. Skeleton's mostly low rolled, so they can't participate. But that should be fine.
This way.
I could again give myself advantage against them, but I feel like for just 2 guys, that probably isn't necessary. Yeah, we'll see. I can probably turn that off, and this will most likely kill. I think the odds are better that way than just hoping for the hit in the first place. Yeah, there we go. He can reduce damage from this, but, you know, whatever. Let him try.
I'm heating up.
Let's have our fun with Karlach maybe now. If we can hit with this. Nice. Then we can show both our fire infusion and our extra added damage thing from the ring. Nice. Let's see the damage roll there. Yes, included the arcane synergy. That'll get better when I get increased intelligence scores in the future. Just kind of wanted to demonstrate how it works in general here.
Taking position.
Blackets will be done.
Sadly, we can't just send things to camp from this menu as far as I'm aware. Complaining about not resting again, Karlach. We're not doing it.
No time to rest.
Paul also just himself just said, no time to rest. There'll never be time to rest. We've got to save the world here.
Anything of use?
Oh yeah, I forgot about this crossbow here. I think it's technically a neat crossbow, but as far as I'm aware, it's pretty useless. It just has this once per short rest whatever special ability, and you know, once per short rest abilities don't matter for me because I don't short rest very often. Oop. So we will just send that to camp, and we'll just sell it all later on.
Wish I had a bag of holding.
I think we didn't loot some things up there above, because at the time we were trying not to make enemies with Githyanki, because in character would come in and talk to them and then kill them at a more appropriate time, which is what we're doing now. So the upshot being there's still treasure to loot back here, I believe. Yeah. Arrows are not actually fireable. You don't confuse them with like arrows of fire or whatever that are actually usable. Because regular ammunition in this game is unlimited. And that's what that would be, I guess. So they're basically just decorative items to make things look more like a real training area or weapons cache or something. Alright, down here we'll loot these guys, including the shopkeeper, who will probably just give us back our own stuff we sold to her because it's high value, and then we'll move on. Do be careful about that. If you want to kill a shopkeeper for some of their own valuable stuff, don't sell them your stuff first. They'll probably just drop that back for you, and then you'll miss out on their unique things. Because I think when a shopkeeper dies, they kind of just drop like their 3 most valuable items, maybe 4. So here's Zaina, which we never really liked very much, which is why we sold it to her. And likewise, the Abyss Beckoners we don't really like very much. This is unique, but kind of, for most builds, not that great weapon. It is like the best short sword in the early game, one of the best in the game, but, you know, short swords are just not that optimal, really, most of the time. Getting expanded crit ranges is fun, but mathematically doesn't make a difference for most builds most of the time, really. If you're really crit fishing, there are probably better ways to do it. Shadowblade is named as one of my favorite spells in 5e, and there is actually the ability to get that spell in the game, although it's very, very obscure and very, very bad because you can do it once per short rest by wearing a ring, but a nod to at least one of my favorite spells in 5e. I think I'll hold on to it and probably not sell it in case I have a chance to use it later on, but it's probably not worth it for me. And this amulet is good once per long rest. As I think a bonus action, you can make an enemy weak to 1 physical element, basically. For 1 attack. It's not great, given that it's only once per long rest, but weakness to physical attacks is somewhat rare, so there are use cases for it. So you might as well keep it and use it, you know, once per act for me.
What's inside?
Okay. I think we should probably wrap this one up here and fight more Githyanki next time and finish up hopefully the whole Creche and the rest of Act 1, including the boss fight against the Inquisitor. Thank you for watching, everyone. And a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Master Knight DH, Jackie and Lino, George Grin, Travis, Carlo Andrea 97, Cthulhu's Mum, Andrew Curzon, Trubsy, Skillrap, Gregory, William Wakefield, Danny Hall, Jeffrey Morse, Just, Becca, Jack, Mashas01, Jacob Marshall, Nubiana, Till Fisher, Discord Colossus, Nicholas Schmuck, Kostya Nesterovich, Luke, Goman Blackrock, Dodo King 4, Marcin Bialik, Maveth, Techno Waffle, Nebular, I Loop, Michael Francis, Emperor Kong 420, Robin Mackey, Micken Balls, Daniel Sadachicato, Stilgen Flamey, Micah Murray, Christopher Allen, Stefan Van Zyl, Eddie, Kaimu, Wendy, Ali Kasamoglu, Lucas Riverola, Skylar Sauce, Nick Myers, Gibbo Jibbo, Bethany James, Emp Ninjas, and Scott Trippermer. Have a great day, everyone!